Guys, boy, Benny, the law of unintended consequences is putting all of these cameras on Donald Trump as you politically persecute him and giving all of the media outlets around the world unending, ceaseless access to incredibly based Donald Trump commentary and Don Jr. commentary. It's really amazing. The entire family has been able to speak in front of these cameras. A bunch of allies, a bunch of presidential or vice presidential contenders. Vivek Ramaswamy, for instance, J.D. Vance, he's on the short list to be VP, according to many reports. And all these strong Trump allies. This morning, Don Jr. was up on the mic. There's also been some people who might not have the kind of recognition of like a Don Jr. or a Vivek, but are using this opportunity to really make a name for themselves. And something shocked us today while we were covering this live. Somebody named Maria Salazar. Now, I live in Florida, and I know a lot of members of Congress here in Florida, but I do not live in this part of Florida where Maria Salazar is from. This is somewhere that shouldn't be Republican, right? Like, presumably, is like here, right in downtown Miami. Down here is a bunch of like woke leftist billionaires right along here. Like I know this area pretty well. I don't live in Miami. I don't want to live in Miami. Maria Salazar represents this area. She's a Republican. Now that alone is pretty interesting. She was elected in 2020. But also Maria Salazar, who has a long history of being a news broadcaster, also a Cuban immigrant to this country. Her family's Cuban immigrants to this country. Sort of is able to speak to a lot of the horrible results of what happens when a totalitarian dictatorship takes over and starts locking up their political enemies. And she did so today. And she sort of stole the show. A lot of people speaking on behalf of Donald Trump today. Maria Salazar, the breakout star. Listen to this.
Representative Salazar, probably I'm the only member of this group that can speak in both languages, so I'm going to do that in Spanish when we finish. And I have a few remarks that I think are going to be very interesting to all of you. I represent District Number 27 in Florida, bastion of the ultimate melting pot in the United States. And I just want to make very clear that I am here of my own volition. I am not on the list of the favorites. I am not looking for a job, and I paid for my own way, just to make sure. And the only reason why I'm here is because thousands of my constituents back in Miami are terrified when the courts in this country are used as weapons to crush our political enemies. Regardless of what you think of Donald Trump, regardless of what you think of him, regardless of what you feel about him, regardless whether you're going to vote for him or not in November, Donald Trump is not the only one going through trial. We all are. And I'm not sure if you know that, but that's the truth. Trump may be the one on the stand today, but the same forces that are manipulating the court system against him today will be after you tomorrow if we do not stop this political cycle circus that we are facing right now. The empirical evidence is overwhelming. And why do I say that? How come a person is being charged and we do not know the charges that are against him are clearly defined? That is all political. That happens in Cuba and Venezuela, not in the United States. How come the federal prosecutors 6 years ago decided not to touch this case, but somehow the state prosecutors in New York decided that it was the right timing? Because it's all political. Why there are no audio recordings? Don't you guys want to hear what's happening? How come there are no cameras in the courtroom? Why is that? Because it's all political. But you know what? My parents are Cuban Americans. They are political refugees. They came from Cuba 60 years ago. And political trials happen in banana republics. In banana republics, not in the United States of America. Thousands and thousands of my constituents, and that is why I'm here, not because I'm one of the favorites, but thousands of my constituents come from those countries, the Cuba, the Venezuela, the Nicaragua, very close to us, and they recognize and see very well when there's a political inquisition going on. They have lived it, they have suffered it, and they escaped it, including my parents. And yet now, we're watching this again, where? In the United States of America. There is something very wrong with this picture. And we have lived it, and that's why I'm here talking to you. The United States, the courts, the laws the judges cannot be used as political weapons just to silence the other guy because you do not like him. The ballot box is where you fight those political battles, not in a court of law.
So Maria Salazar is somebody who did spend close to 35 years as a journalist. She worked for local media reporting in the Miami area. It makes her a really good communicator, and it makes her somebody who's very, very comfortable in front of the camera. This clip went viral a couple of months ago. Maria Salazar talking to the press, saying, I did this job for 35 years. We have a problem in this country with news media. Shame on the media. This is a moment of reckoning. You know, it's really interesting to see how you have such a broad base in the Republican. I mean, it's why we're particularly encouraged in this specific moment, because you are seeing so many people defending Donald Trump. You're seeing so many people standing behind Trump. Listen, you have a ton of attorney generals in this image alone. You have a bunch of attorney generals from different states, members of Congress from different states, senators from different states, many different political ideologies represented. They're all standing behind Donald Trump, and they're uniting. Donald Trump is uniting the party. And it's really quite remarkable. I mean, Maria Salazar is somebody who I would probably, it's got to be more of a moderate. But holy smokes, did she take a flamethrower to the media out front? Listen to this.
Meantime,
you.
I belonged to you for 35 years. You should be ashamed of how passively you're sitting passively by while the credibility of one of the most revered American institutions, the judicial system, is crumbling in front of your eyes. Where is your profession? Where is your impartiality? Your biased coverage will cost us for many generations. Unfortunately, my constituents know this movie does not end well. But the problem is that millions and millions of my fellow Americans have never watched it, so they do not know the dangers we're facing. America and its political genius of the American exceptionality, if we lose faith in it, we are marching towards a very dark place. America is the only hope, ask my parents and my constituents, for humanity, and if we want to continue pursuing the happiness of all of us. May the Lord Almighty, the Lord of Abraham, the Lord of Jesus, protect us, because we are in a very dark place.
I mean, listen, man, it takes like a lot of guts to just stand out there. Here is Maria Salazar back right there. You can see Sebastian Gorka, maybe you recognize Matt Whitaker, maybe you recognize John Jr. Okay, some pretty awesome members of Congress here. Obviously, Troy Nehls with his amazing tie. Can I get over this tie? Donald Trump hugging the American flag on this tie. This is like just perfect. Listen, it takes guts. I don't care who you're standing behind, who you're phalanxed with. It takes guts to stand up there in front of all the media and to speak like that. So Maria Salazar deserves a lot of credit. Now, she spoke in Spanish also after being asked to, and saying that she would. And we translated it for you. And this is pretty remarkable. Have a listen.
I will get
Thank you.
En español, dime. En español, yes.
Lo
que acabo de decir es que esto es un circo político. Nosotros we are the largest minority in the country, the Hispanics. Los hispanos somos la minoría más importante en los Estados Unidos. Esto es un circo político que solamente se ve en Cuba, en Venezuela y en Nicaragua. Es una vergüenza que nosotros, independientemente de lo que usted piensa de Trump, si le gusta Trump, si no le gusta Trump, lo que piense de él, en realidad es que en este país no se logra una lucha política en las cortes, se logra en el ballot box, en las urnas. Y por eso le estoy diciendo a los hispanos, wake up, despiértense, que lo que está pasando es marxismo, y nosotros vinimos a este país para no tener esto, sino para que el futuro de nuestros hijos sea un...
Amazing. This is Marxism. This is Marxism happening in our country, she says. Hispanics, wake up. What is happening here is Marxism. We have to wake up for our children. Powerful. Powerful. I know that there's no such thing as a perfect politician or member of Congress, right? I'm sure there's plenty of things that I disagree with Maria Salazar on. I know she had a fight with Tucker pretty publicly, but also went on Tucker's program and talked it through. And so, man, we're going to invite her on my show. This is... It stole the day. It's the most powerful commentary today in front of the courthouse. And it takes guts, real guts. to be able to do something like that. So good for her. Good for her. Star in the making? We'll see. Every single day is a new adventure. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.